Hello. Hello, hello, hello. What is up, everybody? This is Marshall Couture of Marsh Makes Comics of DonkeyJawProjects.com and all that fun stuff. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody had a wonderful New Year's, a wonderful Christmas. It's been a little while since I've been here doing the live streams, doing the Marsh Makes Comics stuff. But I'm here, and like I said, what was it in November or something? Wait, it was November, January, December. I don't know something. I think it was November. I said I'm taking a break, and I'll be back with an update video in January. And it is, in fact, January. So it's time for another video. So yes, once again, I hope everybody's doing well. And we're gonna check out some books and talk about, what's to come and stuff like that. So, let's see. We got some people here. Dwayne, what's up? I feel like in Horton here's a who. We are here. We are here. We are here. It's been a while since I've watched the cartoon or read the book. So to be honest, I don't really remember that part, but cool. um, I love Dr. Seuss though. I'm a huge fan. Well, I'm a fan. I mean, I grew up on it, and yeah, I'm really into it. So we got Ichthy5. What's up? Thanks for coming by. What is up, Total Excellence? Yeah, sure. Let's go for that. And Dede's here. Evening, evening. Thank you. Thanks for coming by. Um, so yeah, let's get into this. So I wanted to share some stuff that I've gotten since I left, and figured it'd be cool to get to. I mean, this is all cool art, comic-y related type stuff. So stuff that I got into. My buddy Jason Alexander, hence the name right there, also known as Fogbreaker, came out with a new mini comic called New Light. So it's really cool. He's into doing like the abstract and collage type of stuff, and he's really into writing and expressing himself. Especially, a lot of times he's talking about his experiences with Jehovah's Witness, actually, being involved with that and leaving that, and the problems he's had. So the comic looks really cool. I have not read it yet because I've just been really busy with a lot of different things. But I really am looking forward to checking this out. It's been on my night table for me to check out. I got this. I bought this from there's a friend of mine. Well, he's not really, I wouldn't say a friend, but somebody who I met at a convention, and I've kind of followed him ever since. Actually, it might have been my first convention that I did. And we traded mini comics, one for the other, and his was like way better than mine was. But he was nice enough to trade, and that was nice. And ever since, I've been, buying his books when they come out from time to time. So there's actually a couple of them. Let me just put this under here because I'm hitting the mic. A couple of them. This one's really cool because it's got like the xylophone style like mini comic, and it's got like hardcover and like gold. I don't know what you call it, gold embossing or something. So he really went all out with this mini comic. And for Marsh, Gerald died 2023. And it comes out, it's like this accordion style thing. And it goes for a little ways. And then on the other side is also more like this finishing of the story. It's a very simple concept and everything. And what was scattered gathers, what was gathered blows away. Heraclitus, Heraclitus, Heraclitus. That sounds more right. So yeah, I thought that was pretty darn cool. Like I'm like I have to get this book. It's like so well. I've never. I mean, I've seen a lot of mini comics done in all different types of ways and fashions. I've never seen one. I don't know if I've ever seen one at this level of quality and production. Like this is like looks like a real deal like book. So really cool stuff. So there's that. This is a comic that he made, Dogs and Wolves by Gerald Dye. Once again, this is the only world they've ever known. Three delivery boys embark on a journey through the remnants of a crumbling era as they brave the dangers of their world. They explore what it means to be young, to have friends, and to survive. This slice of life story turns the post apocalyptic genre sideways, subverts expectations, and brings a new perspective to old tropes. So, yeah, I mean, I just love this guy's art, and this was a fun little read. It's, again, like he said, it's slice of life. So it's not really like necessarily what one would call a complete story, but it's a complete thought. And look, there's like a cool little sketch in there, which is awesome. There's a complete thought. This guy's like really, he reminds me kind of like Jake Parker, like his style a little bit. Or Scotty Young, but he's got his own style really, but it's just that kind of like brushwork and kind of like really doing good with the contrast and composition and stuff. And he actually, it's not displayed very well in this, and I've shown his work before from other books that I have. He really likes drawing like robots too, which is similar to Jake Parker. Like he'll just randomly draw like lots of robots and stuff. So, and he's good at it too. So yeah, it was a cool little story. I really enjoyed reading it. And I love the art, as I said. It's hard to flip through, but yeah, so cool stuff. Definitely recommend his work at any point in time. He's on Instagram. He's got like you can see geraldi.com if you want to check it out. But he's got an Instagram as well, and that's where I kind of keep up with him whenever I do. So there's that. You guys have seen some of these stickers before. I was subscribed to this guy's Patreon. His name is Prentler. You can kind of see it right here if you look him up on Instagram. If you like this kind of like punk rock, pop genre, collage type stuff, he has like sticker packs that he sends out every month. And I was signed up to his Patreon for a few months just because I wanted some stickers. And then, I'm good now. I'd love to keep getting stickers, but I don't want to just keep paying for Patreons and stuff. I don't have the money for that. I just don't really, you gotta like, you know, you gotta pick and choose your financial battles, I guess, sometimes, but it's good enough to keep it, to keep being subscribed. But it's just, it's an extra certain amount of money, and I'm trying to reduce on some things and expand on others, priorities. So I'll show this after because this stuff kind of goes better here. But Dede, who's in the chat, reminded everybody on her channel. I watch her channel as much as I can. Now at my job, I'm like a lot more like I'm pretty much in the same position that I was before, like freedom wise. Like I can kind of do whatever I want. And because I do a good job, that's why I can do whatever I want. And one thing I can do now is have earbuds or an earbud in while I'm working, you know. And so that being said, I listen to Dede's show and other people. Today I was listening to Christopher Rentzman's show. And once in a while I take a peek at the screen and throw something in the chat when I have a moment. Um, and a thought. So there's that. So anyways, through listening to Dede's show, which is on every Monday and Wednesday, starting at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, which you guys should all check out. I see a lot of the people who come to my show there sometimes, so that's really cool. I'm not saying it's because of me or anything, but it's just nice to see my friends there. Um, and see all the fibs, of course, the friends in the box, as Dede puts it, and her and all the people there are into. So, um, so you should definitely check out her show, and so tomorrow morning, be there or be square. I don't know if that's a thing, but yeah. um, and so she talked about this the sale that happens every I guess like after New Year's. Yeah, I think it's like 2 or 3 days. It's like New Year's Day or something, and 2 or 3 days after that, they have a special sale on like hardcover books and stuff. And there's a couple different ways to do it, I guess, but basically you can get some hardcover books for a discounted price, which is really awesome. So this is one of the books I got, Uzumaki Junji Ito, Spiral into Horror, and this is a book that I've been wanting to get for a long time, and just haven't grabbed yet. I got Junji Ito's like one of the anthology books, and there's some horrifying kind of imagery here, but it is kind of cartoonish and whatever. Like it's manga style, so take of it what you will. But I've been wanting to get this particular book for a long time, and I haven't yet to read it. Look, there's some color pages too. I've yet to read it, but it's all about like spirals and stuff. Like I think the father sees like spirals and goes crazy or something. I don't know. I got to read it. So, um, spirals. This town is contaminated with spirals. So yeah, check that out. If you, I mean, this is very famous. A lot of people know about this. I'm sure you guys all know about this. But it's one of those things, and I was like, cool, I can get a discount. I grabbed it. So I'm excited about that. I've been told by many people that this is a good book, and I know it's a TV show now too. And it's I'm pretty sure it's pretty sacrilegious to a certain degree or something. I don't know, but it's fiction, and apparently it's a good story, and I'm always up for checking out good stories in comics if it's within my realm. And I think I'm going to be interested in it anyways, because faith is something that's important to me, and having that be part of the subject matter. Like I'm not threatened by people who are against the faith that I have, or people who challenge it, or any of that stuff, because I know who my God is, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy with my faith, and I'm also I can understand, really, like I can understand that the thought process of somebody who doesn't believe or is questioning whether it's true, or like all these things. I mean, I question and I doubt things at times. I'm always like, I'm not like just this blind faith person who just believes but doesn't like ever think any deeper than that or something. So anyways, I don't need to get on like a big faith thing, but this is a book that's very well known to be well written, and and a good book. So as far as story goes, so I'm looking forward to reading that one. I'm actually really looking forward to reading that. And this is just book one. Um, I don't know how many books. I mean, I know this was originally, you know, what do you call it, like single issues and stuff, but I don't know how many of this version, this like trade paperback version, exist. If there's like 3 books or 4 or 5, but I'm gonna probably want to read the whole series. It's my guess. So I dig the art. I think it'll be interesting. Yeah, looking forward to reading it. I've been. I think I did. Did I show you guys the dust covers book? Let me know if I showed you guys the dust covers book, Sandman dust covers. But the guy who does that, Dave McKean, which if you're a comic head, you probably know who it is and all that. He's done so many more books, and he's done a bunch of books with Neil Gaiman, but he's also done a bunch of books on his own with other creators, other writers. He's written his own, I think. And this one is pretty interesting. And so I'm happy to collect anything from him because he does like collage work. Like he does anything I can get my hands on of his, I want to have. You might know Coraline, that movie. He also was the illustrator behind that, and I think Neil Gaiman wrote it, or something. It was a collaboration. This one is interesting because this is one where it's less of collage and more like it's a little bit similar to typical comic book style ink art, but it's still like his own thing and really cool. And it's funny because it breaks from the norm of typical comic book format, though. It's not necessarily all like panels and word balloons and stuff. I think it's more like a storybook. I haven't read this yet, but it's kind of more like a storybook. Sometimes there is panels, sometimes there's not. Sometimes it's just words. Um, you know, but I love this ink work. I think it's really expressive, and I like that it's got lots of blacks in it, like just really deep. It's not just like contour lines and stuff, which is very comic book type of illustration. So yeah, I don't know what this is about yet. I haven't read it, but I'm definitely curious, and I love the art in it. So just wanted to share that. I got this. It was like, when you go to Amazon and you can buy the used books, you could see like it's kind of torn here and stuff. Sometimes I'll go for the used one because it's like super cheap, and it's like, why not? I think I got this for like $5 or something crazy. So also at the Barnes and Noble's book event, well, I got that Preacher too, which wasn't on sale because it wasn't hardcover. But it was a good price, and I was like, why not? Let's just get it. I know I really want to read it. It's been recommended to me by so many people. And I was like, I saw this and this one I wasn't sure if I was gonna get or not. But I've heard so many people say it's good. I don't really care that much about Batman. I'm just not like super big fan. I'm not a fan of like Alan Moore and Watchmen. I tried to read Watchmen. I still probably will like to try to read it again. But it bored me to tears when I first tried to read it. But this is supposedly I mean, everybody and anybody says that this is like one of the definitive Batman books, And the art, I do like the art. So, and it's just one of those books that's well known to be a really great book. And so I'm looking forward to, well, I shouldn't say I'm not necessarily looking forward to reading it, but I know I want to read it and I want to give it a shot. And it's good to kind of know like what it is that people love too when you're into comics. There's kind of cool edition where it's got like some pencils and stuff. And I don't know if these are, yeah, preliminary pencils. I was gonna say maybe they're thumbnails, but they are like roughs, I guess. Some pinups and stuff. So cool stuff. So I'll be reading that at some point. I don't know when. Here is another Dave McKean, Neil Gaiman thing. This one's more meant to be like, again, this is more like that kids book type of thing. It's meant to be like for kids. And I read this one and it's pretty good. It's a bit of a like dark kids book, I guess you would say. And by the way, we are going to get into some interesting talk here, and we're going to talk about my little update and everything of what's going on. But first I wanted to show off some junk. And I'll get to the chat as well a little bit more. So this is, again, I love Dave McKean because he uses mixed media and he does like collage type stuff. And I'll pretty much get anything that he does, because I just want to, I don't know, it's inspirational to me, especially since he's using it in kind of the comic book format, So you could see he's using like actual cardboard and like photography and like words, and like he's just kind of doing some interesting stuff. There's like a trumpet in the back, or a tuba in the background, which is part of the story. You got some kind of digital collage stuff going on. Very stylized characters, like as far as like gesture there, and you got all kinds of things going on. I see some acrylic paint strokes and things. It looks like. So yeah, and this one's all about the wolves in the walls, which it's a very like quirky kind of story. There's actual jars of like marmalade and stuff. Where's the part about with the dad and the tuba? Did I miss it? No, I guess that part comes after. So I really dig it. It's fun. Oh, here we go. The dad with the tuba. It's cool. Like when you see it in person too, there's like kind of a lot of texture and detail to it. I like this style of collage and mixed media stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. Lots of cool stuff. Little pen sketch type stuff. Some more sketchy things. There's socks on the feet, like actual real life socks. More tuba work. So, yeah, the wolf's playing the tuba. So, good stuff. So I wanted to share that. And Dede, this is what I was trying to tell you about. I was asking you if you've heard of the A Day in the Life of books. And there's different countries. There might even be, might show somewhere here. Yeah, you can see there's different countries. There's only like a handful. I think there's probably like 8 or somewhere around 8, 10 or something in existence. I first saw the America one. My mom found that at like a Goodwill, and it just has such great photography. And I really want to get the Japan one. I'd like to get them all, really, to be honest. These are like old books. Let's see what the thingy says. I think they're like, they're the 90s, I guess. Okay. This says like May 1994. I thought it was more like 80s, but basically it's just photographs from whatever place it's saying. And all the photographs were taken in the same day. And it's just really good photography, really. And just for me, I feel like it could be like collage stuff for some people. The book is really big, so it's a little bit hard to show the whole thing. This guy's like doing illustrated manuscripts and stuff. So that's cool. And for me, it's like you could use it for collage, but it kind of reminds me of National Geographic type photography. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe it was some of the same photographers. But it's also like reference, it's like all kinds of reference. This one has, and the only reason I got the Israel one is because I would get any of them really, but like I'm not trying to be like politically whatever. I know there's a lot of opinions about all that stuff right these days, but um you know there's I got it just because I know these books are cool and they got cool pictures. The America one was really cool. There's a lot of stuff with weapons in it and stuff because obviously they've been in turmoil off and on forever. So um so anyways, yeah, I just thought this was neat. Um kids in like the Jewish schools, I guess, or maybe it's like they're learning Torah and stuff. Um so yeah, I don't know. It's cool too because like whatever opinions you may have about things, this kind of stuff, there's the chickens, or maybe they're turkeys. Um, whatever opinions you have, like stuff like this, almost, I feel like it it shows the humanity of everything, and it's like, look, they're just people too, just like everybody else. Um, and they're just trying to live their lives, you know. And I don't know. This kind of stuff, I feel like, see, there's like such a mix of like just like common life and then also like the military aspects. So I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of stuff in this world that brings us anxiety and agitation and stuff like that. And sometimes some of these photos can be like a little bit grounding. I mean, this one's a little bit tough to say that because there's so much, you know. See, like this, it's just the humanity. There's just people, this father being joking around with his kids, all this stuff. So, anyways, yeah. Um, I think it's a pretty cool book. And like I said, all the other ones are like really good too. So like I said, I kind of want to get the Japan one. I want to get the American one, but my mom has that one, but I'd like to find them. I'd be happy to collect all of these. So I'm not gonna go through like every page. I'm just kind of flipping through a bit. So, because there's like we're on page 177 and there's more, you know. So all kinds of stuff. So yeah, that's what I was talking about. A day in the life of whatever country. But photographed by more than 60 of the world's best photojournalists in a single day. So there you go. And then this, my mom actually just brought to me the other day. She just found it at like Goodwill or whatever, and it's called Myth Match. I thought, Dede, I really wanted you to see this, especially because this reminds me of something you might show on your channel. I was like, this is cool. Maybe you already have this and have shown it. I don't know. A fantastical flip book of extraordinary beasts by good wives and warriors. I don't know. It's interesting. So it opens like this. There's going to be another one that's tough to show a little bit because the microphone. All right, that should be okay. This is going to be tough though. So, and I got to put the microphone somewhere different for the moment. Hopefully, you guys can continue to hear me. That's probably even better actually. Let's see. All right, so dragon. See, like it opens up. There's dragon right there. And then like each thing is split into two. So there's the dragon, but if you do this, it's like this page is like a unicorn, and you can see the words are split too. So it's like unicorn, or is it a dracorn, or is it a unigon? Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. And again, like you can change, you kind of put them together, and the illustrations are really cool. And I feel like this would be a cool concept to try, like try to do my own version of it and stuff, Like this could be this is like a griffin, griffsus, pegasus, bosus, phoenix, cranix. uh, you could it's just fun. Kraken, and then it doesn't matter. You could go as far as you want and really mix them up. Hokin instead of a hodag. I don't know what a hodag is, but it's just like, what is this? Hoberus. It's like Cerebus and like Fenvada. Like it's just fun. Fencorn. Feneco. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, you get to a point where it's so mixed up you don't even know where the rest of the actual pages are. But yeah. So I thought this was a cool book. And it's big. There's a lot of pages. So yeah. Myth match. Pretty cool, right? Cool illustrations. All right, I'll put the mic kind of back where it was, and we'll check the chat real quick, or for a little bit, I should say. Let's see. Oh, there's the stupid wire wants to get in. Taking a little sip of drink. All right, let's see. So, will we be seeing chickens? Well, there was some chickens actually in there, wasn't there? So, yeah, I'll just throw some stuff here just so at least there's something cool to look at. Good day, everyone. What's up, Sideburns? Thanks for coming by. He is very interesting to listen to. Is that me? Thank you. Oh, Jason is. Yes, Jason. I love Jason Alexander. Like I'll watch his I mean, I was watching him on like TikTok. He's on Instagram and stuff, and it's just it is interesting to hear his perspective on what he's been through. And also whenever he does videos, like with Ronnie Gunther, he was doing the horror show and stuff where they reviewed horror comics. In fact, I think they reviewed this Junji Ito book, Uzumaki. That's actually where, like, I heard of this already before that, but that's where I really it really like dawned on me. Oh, this is like something big. Like when they started talking about it, I was like, oh, I didn't realize much about this. Like this was like just a little bit on my radar. And so yeah, it's fun to listen to Jason talk about all kinds of things. He's been on my show a few times talking about like writing and comics and abstract comics and stuff. So yeah, I agree. Ara, what's up? Hey, hello. Thanks for coming by. I recognize you from you've been on Peter Sameti's Alterna and stuff videos many times. Good to see you here. Devonte Edwards, hey, hello. Thanks for coming by. Dede says cool stickers. Thank you. I really like them as well, and she appreciates the shout out. So yeah, anytime. I love the show. It's so I don't know, it's so nice and relaxing to watch Dede's show for me. Like I'm at work and it's just keeping me company, and it's good stuff. I like to do some delivery drover work. Huh? Okay. Oh, I would like to do some delivery driver work. Okay. Maybe for a warehouse. Hey, well, I mean, I kind of wouldn't mind that too. I'm working for a warehouse, but I used to do delivery. And in my old videos, I think I did that a lot during the time I was doing like the working artist vlog um videos. And yeah, I that was probably the easier version of me working at a warehouse, when I was able to be a driver and stuff. But it is kind of dangerous out there on the road, so you never know. You could be like, you know, get caught up in some stupid, traffic stuff. Um, but yeah, 50% off the yes, that it was the 50% off the hardbacks. But it was kind of weird. Yeah, it was like 50% off, but then there was like also another the reason why I said it was like a little confusing because there was also another deal too. Like if you're a member, you get a certain amount off. They make it's like simple, but it's also complicated if you try to get into the other deals and stuff, I guess. So I guess that's what kind of was confusing me a little bit when I was there. But yeah, it's just a basic 50% off of all hardcovers. Um, so yeah, really cool deal. If you remember, that's an incentive to watch Dee show. Next January, you'll have forgotten about it, and she'll remind you. RSC Arts, Ralph Contreras, what's up? Hi, Marsh, and everyone. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. Glad to see you here. Dwayne, what is up? Have you seen any good comic startups on Kickstarter, or have any of your friends done a comic book Kickstarter before? Oh, I mean, I've done comic book Kickstarters. And well, I did. I've only done one Kickstarter, one crowdfund in my life, and that was for my album Solar Wind Theory. And that was before I made my first comic. I've always had a passion for comics, but that was like I literally started this YouTube channel so that I could promote that CD that I kickstarted. And I did fund. It was like I put the goal for like $500 and I got like 600 or something. And that was like in literally like the first year Kickstarter was around. I did that. And that was pretty early on when YouTube was just only around for a couple of years too. So that's what I started this channel to do music actually, which kind of ties into what I'm going to talk about a little bit today. But Yeah, but since then, I have never done a crowdfunder on my own, but I've been involved in different, Kickstarters, crowdfunders, and stuff a little bit. Especially with the 100 Days of Making Comics anthologies, I was involved in the organization of both of those. In fact, I started the first one. Myself, Mike Emirates, and Chris McQuinlan did the first one, and then uh, the second one was done. It's kind of more with by Mike Emirates and friends, and I was part of that group as well. So I've been very much involved in those two Kickstarters, but I didn't have it wasn't my own Kickstarter. So, and then a lot of my friends, and the Artcasters, which you guys got to tune into Artcasters tomorrow. It's their 400th episode, so so check that out. That's really crazy and awesome, and congratulations to you guys if any of you happen to watch this video for that. That's so cool that you got to 400 videos of doing an actual show, because like I mean I've done a lot of videos, but that's like staying consistent every single pretty much every Wednesday, most Wednesdays if not all Wednesdays. um and it's the roster has changed, and originally it started as something else, like a whole different thing, like Jeff Lafferty really started it, and then they kind of split off into two different Artcaster situations, and a lot of really cool stuff has happened there, and I think a lot of people that are in my community, like I feel like my audience or my friends that I hang out with here on my channel are many, if not all or most, are the same as those who are part of the Artcasters. Like Scott Circlin, him and I, like we both came from the art and story days. Um, with like people like Peter Palmiotti and a bunch of other people. Um, and we both kind of after that podcast stopped going on, then Kevin Cross started the 100 Days of Making Comics. He was part of the art and story stuff, and so a lot of this stuff roots back to that. And Artcasters, I feel like was like an extension of that community. Another like 100 Days of Making Comics and Artcasters. I feel like we're both big extensions of that community, which is what I would think of as my community, not mine that I own, but the community that I hang out in and stuff. So, anyways, throughout that, Scott Circlin himself has had many Kickstarters. A lot. There's Corey Kerr is now like he's like a newer like he's been around for a while now, and he's been part of the Artcasters for a long time now. But like in the grand scheme of all the years we've all been kind of doing comic book content, he kind of came in, you know, halfway maybe since then. I don't know. But not to say like he's been such an awesome addition, and Joshua Kimball was even before all that, like he was back in the art and story days too, but him and Kevin Cross had the illustration party time podcast, which was a huge podcast in my eyes at least, and I think in a lot of people's eyes. And they did that. And so there's just so much history to all this, and so you guys should definitely check out the Artcasters. My guess is it'll be on Scott Circlin's channel, but it's going to be either on Scott Circlin, Corey Kerr, or Joshua Kimball's channel. Those are the three main Artcaster dudes, even though there's a lot of other people who come in often. You know, so it's just really great guys continuing to do a video for so long. It's pretty amazing that they've been that consistent for that long. And I don't know if this is the 400th episode of like them specifically, like that branch of the Artcasters, or if it's of all Artcaster history. Probably it's them at that. My guess is it's the 400th episode of that particular branch of Artcasters, because Jeff Lafferty kind of ended up doing his own thing, and he kind of had his version of Artcasters, and I doubt they're kind of counting the Jeff Lafferty beginning stages, because that's kind of Jeff's own thing. So, yeah, I don't know, pretty amazing though. And I've been on the Artcasters, the different versions, at different times as well. So, but not as like a regular host, just as a guest. So I don't know. I didn't mean to go on all that. You just asked if I've been involved with a Kickstarter. Yes, I've had a lot of involvement with Kickstarters and stuff, but again, I've only done one on my own, and it wasn't even for comics. I've backed, and I've same as Dede, I've backed tons of Kickstarters. I've backed a fair share of Indiegogos as well. Crowdfunding has kind of been the game for a long time, and I don't know if it's still. I mean, it's still going. People are still doing it. Maybe I'll do one eventually for a comic. I think that would be cool. I have something that I'm kind of working on, but I don't think I'm going to do like a crowdfunding for that. We'll get into that a little bit today. He said, "Awesome. I've only noticed a couple of them, but haven't actually looked for them there." Yeah, it's Kickstarter's great. Indiegogo, yeah, is great too. I think it's just a platform that you can find some really cool stuff. Uh, Priya Mason, hello, my friend. Hey, hello. Thank you for coming by. Let's see. Sideburns. Watchmen is overrated. Hot take. Yeah, I think you're right, to be honest. But I can't really say that actually. I've heard a few people say that, and I wanna agree with them, but I haven't fully read the book, so maybe it's not as overrated, if I actually read it, but I don't know. People I've respected have said that, and I'm like, "Yeah, I think they're probably right." But I still would like to actually sit down and read it one day because it's one of the hugest parts of comic book history, and I feel like I'm kinda doing myself a disservice for not being making myself familiar with it, more familiar with it at least, so, Marsh, what's your favorite comic book if it's not Batman? Oh, man, that's a good question. Um, I mean, Walking Dead was really good. I don't think I have a favorite. I always say, like, X-Force #1 is, like, a way up there just because it was the first comic book that I chose to read myself and I bought myself. But I love all kinds of comics. I mean, I love pretty much most, if not everything that Jack Kirby ever did. He's the only one who I have a separate comic book box just for comics by him. Um, uh, but as far as like books that are well written, like to me, books need to be not only have great art but also be well written. And there's so few that are well written, unfortunately. There's a lot that are beautifully illustrated, but there's so few that are well written. Oh, you know what I could say actually? Some of my friends' comics are actually my favorite, and I could probably say that pretty confidently actually. Like I said, Walking Dead is really good. Sin City is really good, but when it comes to like my buddy Fue Storm, also known as Lucifer Storm, he's got his book Ed Gein. Basically, anything he puts out is like one of my favorite comics, and it's not even the type of comic I would necessarily gravitate to, but because I know it's good writing and good art, and it's my buddy. I'm certainly biased, but his stuff is really better written than most stuff out there. Like literally, pro, indie, it doesn't matter. Like his stuff is some of the best written comics that I've come across, at least. So he's got the Ed Gein Demon Hunter book, and he has Lady Satan. He's done more comics in the past, but these are like his new wave of like doing comics, and he's got some coming up. Like he's just a good friend of mine. I talk to him all the time, like literally every day. Um, and he's got a bunch of other cool stuff in the works as well. Um, so that, and then you gotta check out, like, if you haven't checked this out yet. In fact, I just bought 3 more copies because for a specific it's actually for a gift. But I just bought 3 more copies, and it's Dinosaurs versus Mars Bots by Gary Hodges. That is one of the best comics I've ever read, hands down. Like, absolutely, no question. Like, that book is so good. Like, that needs to be, published with a big time, like on Fantagraphics or something, like a good publisher at some point. But I've talked to Gary about that, and he's got his plans and stuff. But I think eventually it would be a tragedy if it wasn't published somewhere, if that story doesn't get out to more people, because it's a great story. It's so well written and really awesome illustration by Gary Hodges. Like, it's good stuff. Like, you'd be hard pressed to find a better comic. And there's other stuff my peers have done, some of which I've read and some of which I haven't, like Joshua Kemball's um uh I can't think of the name of it at this second. The something stories, why can't I think of it? Um ah his book is really good though. It's like it's an auto bio type of thing. And it's, I mean, craft wise, it's like second to very little, second to none, I would say. But really, because he's doing his style, he's expressing himself, like, that is good comic making right there. Oh, why can't I think? Quarterly stories. His stuff is really good. It's like kind of slice of life auto bio type of thing. Um, and it's it's heartfelt and it's truthful and things like that. Like it's really good. I haven't read the full issue yet because I started reading it a long time ago, and it's just like I'm so bad at getting to actually read the comics I want to read, and I'm hoping that'll change soon because of some of the things I'm going to talk about. Um, but that being said, also Scott Serklin's book is really good. The Young and the Dead, that's a great little like I shouldn't say little, but like that's a great adventure, like 80s type adventure story. Even though it's not set, I think it is set in the 80s, but it's just really good. Like you think of like say Stranger Things and like Goonies and things like that. You mix that all up, throw Walking Dead in there a little bit, and that's like Young and the Dead. It's a cool little story. I keep saying little, but the reason I say little is just because it's like it's kind of a for kids adventure story. So, but it's a great it's a cool story. So I definitely recommend his stuff too. So yeah, I feel like my peers are making better comics than half of the people, like half of the like pros out there from what I read. Like I've wasted my time reading so many comics because and they end up being like I heard somebody call comics non-stories. More often than not, they're like non-stories. Unfortunately, people don't take writing seriously enough in comics. And this has been the tradition. This has been the tradition for most of comicdom. I mean, there has been certainly plenty of shining stars who have come through and broken that mold, but when you look at the majority of comics, a lot of times they're not really the best writing. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean they're not great. Like they're still very entertaining. They do serve a certain kind of story purpose that is really fun. Like I love those kind of comics that are more just like, okay, this is the bad guy that the superhero is going to fight this week, or this month. I'm totally up for that kind of thing. I love that. But um but I do like that level of storytelling. I also want the variety of much better storytelling. I'm getting like deep into the weeds with this. I always go there, Sorry about that. But yeah, that's the very long-winded answer to that. Hopefully that's I don't know. Didi says no Marsh, haven't seen those that I recall. Okay, cool. Yeah. Let's see. Look on thrift books for those books. Yeah, I did actually. I was looking for that there too because they're a little bit cheaper there. They're hard. They're a little bit hard to find. Some of them are more expensive than others. Weirdly, I don't know why, but um, yeah, I'll probably find them eventually, or maybe I won't. I don't know. Hope there's a section about food in each of those. Being a foodie myself. Well, there's not really exactly sections, but there's definitely parts where they're showing people cooking food. It's meant to be like a day in the life and just like random people in all different walks of life and stuff. Um, yeah, if there isn't, there should be. Yes, and Dee likes the myths. The what is it called again? The myth match. Yes, very cool. I agree. I have a very close friend that is a kung fu master, and oops, and during Chinese New Year, they pull out the dragons and dance. That would be like really cool to go to an event like that. That sounds awesome. Interestingly, he is also a comic book publisher. Oh, cool! That's so cool. This is the year of the dragon, is it? That's cool. That's awesome. Priya says, "It's been a long time since I've heard from you, Marsh." Yes. I think it was in September. Wait, no. Maybe October. Yeah, I think it was like late in October or maybe early November. I told everybody on this channel that I was going to take a bit of a break, and I was going to come back in January with an update. This is that update. I just haven't gotten to the update part yet. Yes, Uzumaki horror. Yes, absolutely. I'm looking forward to reading that. I haven't read that either yet. I'm late. What did I miss? What's up, Dale? Thanks for coming by. You didn't miss much. I just, you'll have to look at the rewind to see. I just showed a bunch of books and stuff, and I'm gonna get into the update still. You know how I do. I kind of do that kind of stuff first, and then I get into whatever I'm going to talk about. So we'll get into that soon. um, yeah. So let's see what else. What else? What else? Oh, Dede showed a link to Corey Kerr's YouTube channel, and maybe that's where they're gonna have the 400th Artcaster episode. Or oh no, she's just putting all the. So if you want, like, subscribe to Corey's, which she put the link to. Thank you, Dede, by the way, for that. Also subscribe to Joshua's here. That link. And then Scott's as well. And then if you subscribe to all of those, you can find out which one has the 400th episode of Artcasters and check them out. And just subscribe anyways, because they all have cool, great video content, having to do often with comics, often with illustration, and all that stuff. So yeah, definitely worth your time to hang out on all three of their channels. Heck, Scott Circlin has a whole, like, exhaustive comic book making course on his YouTube channel for free. So that's pretty awesome. So let's see. Top 10 is the much better superhero comic by Alan Moore. Okay, cool. Oh, I get what you're saying. I should probably should read top 10 because it's a better comic book by Alan Moore that has the subject matter of superheroes. Okay, gotcha. I'll have to check that out. I want to see what everybody thinks is awesome about Alan Moore. Oh, she's putting all the links in. Jeff Lafferty, his YouTube channel. Check out his stuff. He's got really cool content. Gary Hodges, again, super cool content. So thank you, Dede, for putting all those links in. Wow. Yes, I hope all those links work too. So definitely check out all those links that Dede put there, because that you're gonna get some good comic book love type of awesomeness from those channels. Priya says, sounds very unique taste, comics, graphic novels. Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah, I'm glad you say so. Or that you think so, I should say. Sounds like you're into more stories like novels more than just superheroes and graphic novels. That's what it kind of sounds like. I could be wrong. I grew up on superheroes, love superheroes. But there's more to comics than just superheroes. And to be honest, I kind of forgot about manga too. I love, manga titles as well. I haven't read the full run of, I don't think, any manga title, to be honest, because they're kind of so big. I like, trying to think, like One Punch Man, and like, kind of the My Hero Academia, some of the very well-known ones. Trying to think which one. Like Assassination Classroom's cool. There's what is it? Dark Day and Doro, or Dia Dark. That's one. And Doro Hidoro or something. Those are two recent ones that I've really liked. I really like Parasite. That's like an old classic one. Alita Battle Angel, huge fan of that. That's like one of my faves. So yeah, there's a lot of. I'm like looking over my shoulder at the manga and stuff. So yeah, I love manga too. So I just love comics, and I think that there should be all kinds of like I would love it for America to be similar to Japan, where everybody reads comics because there's no reason why they shouldn't. Like, well, maybe one reason is the writing is often not that great. Again, there's plenty of exceptions to that rule, but that is kind of the rule, unfortunately. And a lot of us, like, I don't consider the stuff I've made great either, to be, and I don't put down anybody for putting out like whatever they can put out. Making comics is not easy. Um, but I do also want to see better writing in comics. I'd like to see the tide rise, with the right when it comes to writing. Sideburns. Dragon Rider manga includes recipes, fictional ones, but interesting. Oh, speaking about recipes in manga, I love wonton. What is it? Wonton soup, I think it's called. I love that it's not a manga, but it's kind of in a manga style. It's by an American, or is he American? He might be like Canadian, but I think he's American. Why can't I think of his name? I have a bunch of his stuff. James Stocco. Yeah, wonton soup is really fun, and it's all about cooking actually. So, but it's like an adventure cooking. Like they have like a game, like a fighting tournaments and stuff with cooking, and it's interesting. Yes, Sideburns has a channel. I love the emoji. Thank you, Dede, for putting that link in. And everybody go check out Sideburns. He's got a channel and he has awesome content as well. And you need to check out his comics too. Go to his website and stuff. He's got like some awesome comics, and he's an awesome supporter of, you know, really cool comics and comic YouTube guys like myself. So I really appreciate your support, Sideburns. And yeah, check his stuff out. Have you read any books by Narwhal? Nope. But I know the name because there have been times where I've watched CG type of videos in the past, and I feel like he was one of the names that was mentioned many times. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know anything about what comics he makes or anything. Uh, Jet Li, yeah, Jet Li's cool. I'm not sure specifically what you're saying about Jet Li, but let's see. Unleashed seems like it would have been a great comic book. Oh, okay, like his movie. Yeah, probably. I mean, any kind of like kung fu movie or action movie, definitely. I mean, if there's anything that's been common in comic books, it's action type of stories. That's for sure. Priya says, because you said that you like graphic novels, that's more well written. I would think manga can be well written works. I never read Uzumaki. They're supposed to make an anime adaptation of Uzumaki. Oh, really? That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think manga does the superhero genre way better than American comics do these days. Like way better. And maybe better than they have in the past too often. But there's a lot of great superhero stories as well, like in American comics, that's for sure. So yeah. So anyways, let's get to update. I've been going for an hour now. Okay, wow. It's been a while since I've talked for this long. I'm not a big talker in real life. I found out recently, like a friend brought this thought up to me. Maybe I should get a sketchbook out and just kind of. I don't know that I'm going to draw anything good, but uh, at least I can. Sometimes I think and talk better when I'm doodling. There's Lady Satan, which is my buddy Fway's character, and then Ed Gein Demon Hunter, and then this is Jason Alexander, who I showed you his comic earlier. He's had some stickers he did, some more of those Prentler stickers. Corey Kerr, Do Things Robots Can't. There's another one from him. I did a story for Lone Wolf. So yeah, this is just like when I was doing jelly plates, I kind of used this sketchbook to wipe off my thingy mabobber. This thingy. What is this called again? Brayer or something? I don't know. That's not a brayer. I don't know. I don't know what things are called. And then I was doing some kind of collage stuff a little bit. Just basic, like fooling around stuff. Let's see. I've been kind of getting into. I mean, I haven't done much for art lately, to be honest. Um, but I've been getting into oil pastels and stuff a little bit. There's one I did. I put it on Instagram that kind of came out pretty good. I think it's in this sketchbook. Oh, I did this collage too. I put that on Instagram. This one kind of came out cool. I like it. It's interesting. I took a photo that I took at work actually, and I printed it just because I was trying to see how my printer was working or something. And then I was like, okay, well, I can't. It's just a blurry photo, so I cut it up and used it, for this collage. And there's paint and stuff. I don't know where that other piece I did. It's in one of these sketchbooks somewhere. Anyways, so let's sketch a little bit. I don't know what I'm going to sketch though. I could sketch something from this Israel book. Let's see. See if I can find just something relatively, relatively interesting and blah blah blah. Oh man, there's so many cool things, but it's like, here, I'll do this one. This one's kind of cool. This guy. It's in black and white, which is kind of better to not sketch from black and white, I guess they say, but who cares? I don't know. I have all these like hang-ups from like what my art teachers tried to tell me. uh so anyways, I'll just scribble out some sketches with the good old ballpoint pen. Why not? Man, the glare's hitting that. I gotta angle it just right. Okay, that's better. Take a little sip here. And we'll get into this update. So, update YouTube. Marsh makes comics. What's going on here? What's going to happen from here on out? And also possibly a little bit about strategy and stuff with this kind of thing, but we'll see. I did title this The Infinite Cycle, which is a mysterious title, right? What's up with the infinite cycle? I don't know. So, anyways, when it comes to like, I'll be honest, I've been like, I'm trying to stop saying I'll be honest because a friend pointed out to me that like when you say I'll be honest, it almost makes some people feel like, oh, they're actually being dishonest, which to me it's just something that is part of my language that I say, but I think I'm a pretty honest person actually. Like I don't have a desire even to be dishonest for the most part. So I don't know. I want to try to like stop saying that, I guess. But anyways, I'll probably say it again like 10 times in this video. um so man, my nose is stuffy. It's so annoying. When I talk a lot, my nose gets stuffy sometimes. Uh and then it's hard to like talk and breathe at the same time. Maybe I should go try to blow my nose. I don't know if that'll help. But let's give that a try. I'll be right back. Give me like not 5 minutes, just like 1 minute. I'll be right back. I'm back already. I'm back. uh, my nose is still stuffy. It doesn't really matter, but it felt good to be able to blow my nose. um, sorry about that, guys. So excuse me. So I'll be honest. No, but like, I should kind of lift this up because, like, if you draw like this, like my face is like, here, and it's at a weird angle, so it's kind of doing this like this angle situation, like at a right angle. So I'm not looking at it at the proper perspective. So I'm gonna make things longer and shorter, but I don't hold it up. But I don't really have a good way to hold it up besides my hand. Um, the thing that I would use to hold it up is holding the book up. Maybe I could. This is probably not going to work, but let's put the book back here. This is kind of okay. That might work. So, um, so it's been tough to like. I've been thinking about like, what am I going to say for this update? Like, what is my update? Where am I at with all this stuff? And I've been having a hard time like knowing really where I'm at with stuff lately when it comes to like this YouTube comic channel and stuff. Um, so that's kind of where I'm at, but I did kind of, I think, come to some conclusions to a certain degree. And, it's pretty, in some ways, it's pretty easy, but like, so uh, a while ago, I did a video um where I said it was called like I quit or something like that. Like it's kind of one of those clickbaity type of things, but there was a reason why I said it. It wasn't like, it really wasn't clickbait because it really was about that, but it was kind of meant to be like, help maybe that would get like some views and stuff. Um because I'm not like I don't care. I think it's kind of fun to do the clickbaity thing as long as it's like actually what you're talking about in the video. So, anyways, so I did that video, and what I was talking about in that video was I quit, worrying about the algorithm and trying to basically bow to the social media and algorithm gods and all that stuff, you know, aka like best practices and stuff, and trying to do like what gets people to get views and all that stuff, which is kind of funny because that video specifically had a little bit of a clickbaity thing in it, but that's kind of the point because it's not meant to be like this like okay, doing that is necessarily bad. It's just I'm done being a slave to like, you know, that kind of thing because when it comes down to it, the only reason I ever did this YouTube channel originally was to kind of get more people to see my music at the time and like but anytime I've always wanted to do comics too, so it was kind of inevitable that I would kind of turn this into a comic book channel or like have a comic book channel or something, because I just want to make art and I want to and I didn't get into this so that I could be a YouTuber necessarily. I mean, that ended up being something that I thought was fun and that I actually did want to explore. And I have obviously. But that's not what I got into it for. And when it comes down to it, the whole reason for me to do any of this kind of stuff is meant to share the creative work that I do. Like I wanted to make comics, you know, and I wanted to make like I'm also a musician. If a lot of people here already know that, but like um, I wanted to make music and stuff and share it, and I want, of course, every artist wants their work to get out there and to some level. Music, art, creativity, I feel like there's an intrinsic like part of it where it's meant to be shared. It needs like people, that's part of why people do it. Not the whole everything of why people do it, but it's an expression. So an expression in and of itself is if you're expressing something, that means you're communicating something to someone. So it's just like it's part of the deal, I think. Like we're that's what it's all about to a certain degree, or part of what it's all about. So then we get into this new world of social media, which for some people it's like the world they grew up in. At this point, there's people who are adults now who pretty much grew up in it. Um, but I'm old enough, and a lot of people I think in my audience too are old enough to remember the days where they didn't even have access. I mean, the internet was almost not even a thing. Like if it was only for like people, the elite people who, you know, had access to it and knew anything about it, like college professors and stuff, and people who created it. And, it wasn't something that the common person even knew about at one point, and then it became more and more common, and AOL became kind of, I feel like, blew it up, and that's when it started to become really popular. But even still, it didn't. It took a long time for it to like mature into what it's become now. And I say mature loosely, by the way, because what it's become now half the time is not very mature at all, to be honest. In fact, I think it's making us less mature as a society, to be honest. But here we go, the to be honest thing. Like, uh, so, um, so, anyways, it's been hard for me to like decide like where am I even going with this stuff anymore? Because like I got a lot of things going on in my life. I'm living life. I got like new job and stuff, and like there's just a lot of new things going on in my life, and it's exciting, it's fun, it's great. Um, but it's not necessarily like I don't know how much YouTube is gonna fit into that, you know? And why I don't know, like I'm more and more realizing how unhealthy like some of this stuff can be. And I mean, I think I've kept a pretty good handle of it mostly, but there's also been times where I'm like, am I a little bit too addicted to this stuff? Like, I don't know, I mean, and I don't think I am really, but like still it's good to evaluate. We should all be evaluating like what is this internet and social media stuff? What is this doing to our mental health, to our well-being? And I see this um I feel like I saw this progression of like there was like what do you call it, like iPods and stuff, and that was like a big thing. And then like you could download music and like iTunes and stuff. And then like people started finally getting these things called smartphones, and it's like I saw like how that all came about. And then eventually I was like all about it. Like I'm like, oh, I can listen to podcasts while I'm at work. And that was kind of the real beginning of it for me, I feel like. And then YouTube started being a thing, and it was like, oh, okay, like this is kind of cool. It's like you can do like TV, but anybody can do it, like, type of thing. Like, that was kind of part of the appeal of it, it seems like. And I don't know, oh wow, I can share my art to the whole world. Like, this is cool. Like, oh my gosh, this is like exactly what I need. Like, I'm trying to make a career. I've always, for so long, way before all this stuff really came off with the internet, I wanted to have a career in comics was the first thing. And then, I got into music and stuff, and I was kind of trying to do the hip hop thing and all that. And all along having different jobs, being in the military, doing different like things, because you got to pay the bills, you got to be responsible, you got to try to build a life and stuff like that. And that's, what I wanted to do too, getting married, all this kind of stuff. Um, so, when this stuff started coming around, it's like, well, yeah, this is like, maybe this is the way that I can finally like figure out how to like create some kind of following, and get eyes on my work and stuff. But then it became like this thing where it's like being a YouTuber and creating content. That word, the content word, that's a dirty word. you know, um, it's like, and but it didn't seem so bad at first necessarily, but now I'm realizing, well, I think a lot of us who kind of thought this was a good thing, and I think it still is a good thing, can be a good thing, I should say. A lot of us who tried this stuff started to lose the plot a little bit. Like, oh, well, like now we're focused on algorithms and how to get views and subscribers and this and that. And, I'd be lying if I said that I didn't get a bit caught up in that myself. I mean, I still am a little bit caught up in it, like to a certain degree, but I'm always trying to measure like how far is too far, what's healthy, what's unhealthy, like, you know, not only what are best practices, but what are best practices for me and my mental health and my, you know, and am I really accomplishing like the actual goals that I got into this to accomplish? And part of it is actually yes, like because one of the big goals, one of the things that I was hoping this would bring to me was absolutely has happened, which is community. And even that can be a tough word to deal with. Like there's some issues there with what does it really mean? Like, does everybody really want to be that connected in some kind of a community? Is that really a good thing all the time? I think sometimes it is, sometimes maybe it's not. Um, but for me, it's mostly been a positive, and I have met so many awesome people, many of which, watch this show. And, um, I've become real friends with, like, my most real beloved friends have come from because I'm doing this YouTube stuff. Like, seriously, my closest friends are people I've met online. So, and there's only a few that are people, outside of my own family and stuff, that's different, but, like, there's only a few that are people I've met in real life, at different events or, like, at church or wherever. Um, and the thing is the thing that is really cool about the internet is you can find your people, you can find the people who make comics. It's not easy to find people who are passionate about making comics in just everyday life. That's very, it's not easy, you know. Um I have found a few here and there, but it's so much easier to find those people on the internet. Because we all go to forums and websites and the same type of places to look for similar type of things. So, anyways, so I constantly have to reevaluate, like, what am I doing? What is this really what I want? All that kind of stuff. And I've, come to the conclusion, and I talked about it through that video. And I'm talking about it, my further thoughts about it now. Um, And one thing that's interesting is I have more than one passion. Um, Comics is a big part of that, but also music is a big part of that. And music has it's like been this trade-off between music and comics my whole life. Both of them are a passion, and at one point I'm focusing more on one, and at a different point I might be focusing on another one. And it seems like focusing on one kind of takes over the other one, and I don't spend as much time on the other one. And it's honestly been more on the side of music these days. And But I don't know that it has to take over. It's just when I'm focusing on one, I can't focus on both at the same time, like meaning like within say the same day or something. It's tough to like say do like serious work on one on both of them in the same day type of thing. But the thing is my goals with comics I feel like are a bit stalled right now. So, um as I've been kind of ranting about in this very video, I want to see better stories in comics. I really want, and that's always been my thing. Like even though I haven't exemplified that, you know, I remember before all this internet stuff happened, I would always say like I want like because I grew up on like the Image comics and stuff, and to me that was awesome like art. I loved that art back then, and I still like it to be honest. My tastes have grown and matured as well. Um, but like I always was like, but their stories are not good. Like they're not really good. I still enjoy like reading them and stuff, but they're not good stories. Those guys were not known to be writers. They were known to be artists who did like, you know, their kind of art. And so I always was like, I want to make comics that have that cool art, but also have great stories. Like I want to be a pioneer almost in that, like, because it's not being done from my vantage point. This was when I was younger and stuff. Obviously I've grown to learn a lot more about comics, and found out there is some really good stuff out there, but it's not easy to find necessarily. I still believe that. um, so anyways, that's always kind of been my desire. But as far as like my development, I started, as most of the people who are in my audience, they came to my they came to start watching my videos through my mini comics video where I talked about, that's a great way to start doing comics. You don't have to have an amazing comic. So I've kind of preached this whole thing of like, you don't have to make amazing comics. You can make a comic right now with stick figures and all that stuff. I 100% am still down with that plan. I still think that's awesome. Um, However, like you also need to continue growing if you want to. I mean, it really depends on where you want to go. But for me, I've always wanted to grow past the initial stage of like, all right, I'm gonna do fun little mini comics. And I don't mean past it because I still want to do fun little mini comics. I think I always will. But like, um, but I mean, I also really want to do something that I feel proud of in the aspect of like this is a good story and people really like these characters because they're really well developed. And like something like, you know when I read or watch the movie Harry Potter or like Lord of the Rings, I mean, I'm not saying I'll ever get to that level or anything, but when I read or watch a movie, when I take in a story and the characters like just pop out and they're like, I want to spend more time with these characters. What other stories do they have? Like that kind of thing. Like that's what I want to do as well. I'm happy to do like the fun, like, abstract and experimental type of comics. I love that kind of thing too. but I also really want to create some really like some stuff that really like I think that one thing that Peter Samedi talks about is you need to tell a story that you need to tell. Don't just tell any old story, you know. You got to create a story that you need like is this a story you have to tell? And I think there's something to that. I think there's even another part to that. Another way of kind of getting into that which is um you know, you need to tell a story like as an artist, as a creative person, the best work out there is work that's saying something where the creator has a voice and they have something to say, something they have to say. Like they're restless if they don't say this thing. And they may say it through a painting, they may say it through a comic book, they may say it through music, they may say it through a movie, you know, whatever it is, through acting, you know, whatever their form of art is. But whatever it is, they have to it's like there's something they feel like they have to express. And it could be it doesn't have to be like this intense, like dramatic thing. It could just be like, I just want to express how awesome God is or whatever, like, or well, I mean, that is kind of dramatic. But I just want to express like what it's like to be feeling a little bit awkward when you take your driving test or whatever like it is that like you have experienced in life. Like I want to express a different viewpoint on like what it's like to have your first job or whatever, like what it was like for me and some of the funny things I went through and some of the struggles that I went through and people I had to deal with, you know, that kind of thing. Like whatever it is, like there's something. I think everybody had like some people have said like everybody has a book in them and stuff like that. And in some ways I feel like that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like everybody has some great stories in them. Some of them tell that story through, you know, just everyday life, you know. But even in in everyday life, people want to express certain things, you know, and communicate certain things. And being an artist is really all about communication in a lot of ways. And you know, that's how we relate with each other. We communicate through all kinds of things, art being one of those really great ways, you know. And art is something where um we know that we're not alone, you know, when we see other people, like it's like feelings and emotions that are communicated. It's not just like, you know, actual message or anything. It's like a vibe, like an emotion, a feeling, a hurt, a pain, what it feels like to have a great family too. Like you can express very awesome, wholesome things as well. Like it doesn't have to be like anything dark or whatever, but it could be dark too. And it could be, you know, express what it feels like, you know, to lose love. Like that's been like one of the big ones that's been expressed in so many different ways. Like, but also what it means to realize that you're, you know, you're an important person or whatever, and your feelings matter and whatever. Like there's all kinds of different things that we go through common as human beings, and we can relate to each other with, and it helps us all to like feel like, okay, maybe we're not alone, maybe we're not the only ones who feel this way or that way, or you know, you know, I'm worthy to be loved. Like all these different, like there's so many different things that can be conveyed. And it's whatever it is that you need to say. That's the thing, and that's the kind of thing I want to get to myself because I have things like that, you know. And I feel like I've been learning how to make comics in front of everybody, but I haven't like taken the time to like really like dig into creating that comic that kind of comic that I've always wanted to make, or that kind of story or whatever. And so my kind of journey right now when it comes to comics is to learn how to write better. Because I want to like practice what the thing that I've been yearning for, which is well-written comics. And when I read a book like Gary Hodges, Dinosaurs versus Mars Bots, or like, Fue Storms, like Ed Gein Demon Hunter and things like that, like I want to make something that's that good. I don't know if I ever will, but I want to at least try. I want to be able to say I tried, you know. Um so that all being said, like I'm not really all that like excited about the prospect of like trying to do a lot of like comic book YouTube content right now. Like that's I have like I've done possibly 1,000 videos. I know I've counted at one point and there was like 900. If Nathan uh Rosario was here, he'd tell me how much, because he somehow always knows where to go to find out how many videos I've done. Like whenever he's here, which is cool. I don't even know how to find that myself. He's kind of shown me, but I forget. Um, but anyways, I've done like at least over like 900 videos talking mostly about comics, which is fun, and I love that. The biggest reason I love that is because I get to connect with you all. Like I get to like just enjoy being in company with everybody who is into what I'm into. And it's not always comics. A lot of times it's just art in general too. That's why I connect with people like Dede and stuff, and all kinds of different people. Um, and it's so nice to have people to connect with on that level. So I'm not stopping doing my YouTube channel. That's not what I'm trying to say here. But I'm not really gonna make it a big focus either. I I want like I want the YouTube channel to be, you know, a place where I can connect with my friends, and that's what it that I like. I treasure that. I want that to continue. So that probably means like, I'll just be popping in here doing like live streams once in a while type of thing. Um, and I want it to be a place where I can share my work as well, but maybe I'll start sharing it in a little bit of a different way than I have, you know, in relatively recent history. Uh, so I don't know what that's going to take, what that's going to mean, but another thing is where do you like I've been evaluating like where what things in my life take energy away from me and what kind of things in my life give me energy. And I don't mean that on like a woo woo like hippie type of thing or whatever, but I just mean that on like a very basic simple, like what's giving me energy and what's taking it away from me. um and when I think about like trying to be very aggressive as I have been in the past with comic book YouTube content, I don't have much energy there for that. Like it feels more like a burden to try to be very like aggressively doing the like YouTube thing that I've done for so many years. Like I've talked about it so much. Like I just want to talk about it when I feel like it now. Like I don't want to talk about it just because I have to do a video this week. I don't think that content kind of best practices thing is always like I think sometimes it's more harmful than good, but I don't think it's always bad either. Like, but I just want to be doing the thing that I really want to be doing, which is actually making the comic. And also, I do have energy to do that kind of thing with my music stuff, which so I've been doing more on my music channel, my music comic book, my music uh YouTube channel. um Along that lines, where I've been doing some videos where I'm just like sharing kind of techniques that I'm working on or experiments I'm working on with the modular synthesis and stuff. And that's still like that kind of thing for the comic book channel used to be really fun to me, and it's become a thing that's not that fun to me anymore to do those kind of videos. Um, that doesn't mean I won't do those kind of videos ever again, but it just means like I don't think I'm doing much of that anymore for now. But I am doing some of that for the music stuff, you know. And to be honest, I'm not like trying to put a huge pressure on that either, you know. I do want to grow that channel, but you know, and my focus when it comes to comics is like come here, hang out. I also think I might change the name of this channel again, which I changed it in the past to Marsh Makes Art, and I might just change it back to that, you know. Um because I would love to come on here and do like like I do have energy when it comes to thinking about like maybe I want to do a video about jelly printing, you know, or like doing a pastel illustration or something. I don't know. Like I love all kinds of art, you know. And sometimes I feel like a little bit like, oh, well, I can't do that on my comic channel unless it relates to comics. I may or may not change the name of this channel. I'm not saying I'm going to. I'm still kind of on the fence about that. But usually the way I kind of approach that is I'm like, well, you can do pastel work for your comic. You can do, jelly plate stuff for your comic. You could do abstract collage stuff for your comic. I mean, hence the Dave McKean books I was showing you guys. And there's a big part of me that actually really likes that approach. Like that actually is fun because it's like, oh, cool. I can relate that to my passion of comics, and that's kind of really cool. And it's also like a unique way to do comics because a lot of not so many people do comics using those techniques. This hand looks so janky to me, and it probably is, but I kind of don't care. I'm just doodling, and I'm just trying to get it there, but it's a little rough. But if you saw the picture, if you really like sit there and observe it, it's like it looks it's not an easy hand to do. Hands are always hard though, right? So, anyways, so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know, like it's not a great update. It's not like, oh, I got this big plan and I'm gonna be kicking butt and taking names and all that stuff. Like it's like, no, I'm kind of just doing my thing and I may do this, I may do that, that kind of thing. And honestly, I'm kind of okay with that. Like I don't want my life to be dictated by social media or by trying to hit like some kind of algorithm or and the thing is I got a comment on that other video that I was telling you guys about earlier. Like recently I got a comment on it where somebody was like, "So how's that working out for you?" And it was like this snarky like comment and it's like, well, and meaning like how's that like giving up on the YouTube algorithm and how's that all working out for you? And it's like, well, I think I did respond too. I was like, it's working out great. Like my plan was like, I'm not going to be, a slave to that stuff. And I don't care if that means like I'm not like Mr. YouTube All Star. I think that person was saying, well, how's that working out for you? It probably didn't work and now your YouTube's going down the drain. Well, who cares if it goes down the drain? Like I have come out of this YouTube experience, I feel like successful. And I'm not even coming out of the experience. I'm just saying if I were to say this is the end of my YouTube experience, I've come out of it successful because guess what? I have so many friends because of it. So many awesome people I've come across and spent a lot of time chatting with and hanging out with and like all you guys have been so awesome. You're always such a great support. I always know I can come back do another video and you guys will be like, "Hey, Marsh, how's it going?" Blah, blah, blah. And like, we'll chat, we'll have fun. And then I'll go on your guys, a lot of you guys have channels as well. I'll go on your channels and chat in your chat. Sometimes I'm invited on to hang out. And it's like, that's cool too. Sometimes I'll hang out with you guys on your channel or something like, that's to me, that's an invaluable. So yes, it's been a success. Not only that, I've also gotten, YouTube money and stuff from ads and stuff. So I really hope that stays the same, but if it doesn't, it's not gonna break my heart. Like my life is not man cannot live off of YouTube ad revenue alone. Or maybe some men can, but I haven't been able to. But still, like social media is not the be all and end all of life. I think a lot of us are just I'll put up my hands. Like I've found myself a bit addicted, and like I said, I was trying to get to this point earlier, but like, you know, I I remember when this was not a thing, and I was one of the few people like really going down this rabbit hole of smartphones and social media and stuff of people I knew, and I saw the evolution of more and more people starting to get into it, more and more people having smartphones. And then I saw like the evolution of, well, that was true, but not like the older community, like people who are like my parents' age and stuff. Like they still kind of reject it, and they're like, oh, I don't need a smartphone, blah blah blah, this and that. Now everybody's got smartphones. My grandmother's got like an iPad that she uses all day long, and like I don't know, like my mom is like always on her phone and like different. It seems like it's everybody now. Every single person is like, I mean, some people more than others, still, but like it's become a thing where it's like I can't even go to like a family event or like certain events, and people like you're at dinner and people are on their phones or on their iPads or whatever, and it's like, hello, like I'm here, like aren't we supposed to be like having time, together or whatever, like, and I'm just sitting there twiddling my thumbs because to me it's kind of rude. I feel like it's kind of rude, and so I really try to keep my phone in my pocket and not you know not out when I'm with people. And I'm pretty good at that because to me it's important. I'm not perfect with it though. And so again, I will put up my hands and say, yeah, there's a part of where I'm like a bit addicted to it sometimes, and it's not super healthy. So, and I can get caught up in like checking if I got views and whatever and all that stuff. So anyways, I'm trying to have a more healthy relationship with technology and stuff for a lot of different reasons. Um, and so I'm not sweating it. I'm not gonna sit here and like sweat all this stuff, like whether, whatever, like I'm getting views or whatever, likes, all that stuff. So do I still want my YouTube to do well and grow? Sure. I think that'd be great, but I'm not gonna like I just I'm gonna go where the energy is at. I'm gonna have fun doing this thing. Like it's okay if even comics is just a hobby. I'm also not putting the pressure, and I'm still consistent with this. I'm still not gonna be putting the pressure of making a living with comics on myself. I would still love to make a living with comics, but I'm just not gonna push that so much, as I have in the past. And so, which leads me to like, what is like, do I have any projects and stuff that I'm doing, like when it comes to comics and that part of the update, which is, yeah, some of you guys may have seen on my social media that I have posted like some stuff that I was working on and whatnot. And so basically, I guess I could show you guys the cover and stuff. I mean, I've put it in a bunch of different places, but um, so you probably have seen it. Sorry, I just kind of want to at least scribble in the some of the color, the dark parts here. Sometimes you just gotta finish it a little bit. It's not a very finished piece, but it's like So yeah, this is kind of where I got to with this. Again, it's just a pen scribbly thing and all that, but and proportions are all out of whack and blah blah blah. But it's something. Um, I didn't even get to the infinite. What is it? The infinite cycle, and it's almost 2 hours. But we'll get. I'll try to talk about that a little bit too. So um, let's see. The project. I haven't really even looked at my notes, which is kind of funny. Um, let's see. I'm going to show you guys the like if you haven't heard, like I want to do this like collect all the comics I've done so far into it's probably not going to come up very good. Like that's not a very good representation. If you go on my social like on my Instagram, Marsh makes comics on Instagram, you'll see it better. But this isn't even showing the colors very well. There's reflection. Anyways, marshlands, in the wilderness. And it's supposed to be like it's going to be like all my comics collected that I've made so far. And this isn't necessarily like the best writing, but it's like this is my first comics and how I learned a lot of things when it comes to making comics. And I want to continue this as like my own 8 ball. It's going to have a totally different vibe than 8 ball has, but my own like one person anthology type of thing. And then that'll like turn into like whatever those stories that kind of continue on through the series, hopefully that'll turn into their own books and stuff like that. So that's kind of the idea like I want to go with. So that's kind of where I'm at, and I want to learn uh how to write better and stuff. So let me just check my notes and make sure let's see if there what I've missed and stuff. So this thing about the infinite cycle, it's like when you and I'll go through the chat a little bit here too. But when I like with this YouTube thing, like a lot of people are quitting and like burning out and stuff because it's this infinite cycle of creating content. And it's like when a lot of people got into this, they maybe didn't necessarily bargain for the fact that they're going to have to do this infinitely forever. Like we're not made to do that. Like we can't just like just infinitely like what Dede does, like that's a whole different thing. Like she enjoys like every Monday and Wednesday she's hanging with her girls, slash whoever the fibs, they're not all girls, but we do have to bring a man card out once in a while. Um oh, here's that drawing. This is that pastel thing I did I don't know, it was a few weeks ago or whatever, but I'm trying to learn pastels and stuff. This is Victor Wooten. He's like this bass player. He wrote this amazing book called The Music Lesson. And then there's a second book too, like a sequel to it. And it's like this really cool story that also like teaches music and really cool. He's an amazing musician. So I'm glad I found that. I wanted to share that. So yeah, there's like this idea like that it's like this infinite or finite, like do you want to be in this infinite cycle or a finite cycle? Like maybe it's better if we think about YouTube as like let's do seasons, like let's just make a really cool show and make 6 episodes, put it out, and then work on another 6 episodes if we want, or work on something else and then go back and do another season and whatever. Like maybe there should be an end goal, and like we shouldn't just start a YouTube channel to for it to just go on forever. And I think that's what a lot of people started to feel stuck in, and that's why a lot of people are quitting. And some people are starting YouTube channels and they're starting it and saying, look, I'm going to do this for 3 years and then I'm out, but I do have a passion for this and I want to do this for a little while, and I think maybe that's going to be the new way that YouTube happens. I don't know. We'll see. But we're not robots that can just like do things forever. I feel like the nature of something like what Dede does though is a little bit different. Um, because that's like, yeah, I'm just kind of doing what I love to do, and I'm sharing stuff, and it's so relaxed, and like, I mean, it takes effort to do it, obviously, but she's bringing her family in, and they're sharing stuff, and it's like it's just kind of part of life the way she does it, and I think that's awesome too. Maybe that's what this channel will turn into. Maybe it's going to be more like that. I don't know. Um, I mean, it's kind of been like that as of late, anyways, like this past year and stuff. So, or last year, I should say. So I mean, I even had an opportunity to do this new indie comic convention that came up, and I signed up for it and everything. I was going to do this convention, and I decided not to do it because my energy isn't there. And I was going to do it so that like Marshlands came out and it was ready for that convention, and I just felt more and more like this is like a burden more than anything to me. Like, I don't, why should I do this if it's not making me happy? And it's not comics that are not making me happy, but it's like that specific push at the moment wasn't making me happy. And it's not like this is making me a living or anything. Like, if it's going to be at the level it's going to be, then why stress out over it? Like, this is supposed to be something that I enjoy. And something that I can share with people and like bless other people with when I make something cool. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I still absolutely have a passion for comics, but I feel like some of this push and trying to make it a career and the YouTube thing in some ways has taken away from that. So I have to be careful with what my activity is going to be surrounding that. And sometimes you just need to do that. And if I'm honest with myself, I've just been more focused on music in the past like 5 years, really. Like, so it's like I keep trying to like, it's like, okay, my YouTube is doing kind of good, my comics YouTube is doing good, and so, but I really want to start this music channel on the side. But like, even when I ask friends and family, sometimes they're like, well, you already got the YouTube going, the comic book YouTube going good. You should focus on that since it's working. But that's not where my like that's not where my energy is though. Like, I can do the same thing on the music channel probably even quicker than I ever did it on the comic book one, because I kind of blindly found my way to where I'm at with the comic book channel. Like, I mean, not really blindly because I looked up a lot of stuff and learned a lot, but it took me a long time just to get to 1,000 subscribers, and then it took me a long time to get further, and eventually I had a video that popped, and then since then it's been kind of nice, but still it's not like I'm making amazing I mean, I'm not draw with Jazza or anything like that, or like you know uh what's his name, crowd, why can't I think of his name now, the one guy who does, like, he's been doing comic videos forever, and he's actually famous on YouTube for doing like how to draw an eye videos. I know Dede knows who it is, and Mark Crilly, yes. Like, I'm never gonna get to that status, and even if I was, like, I'd rather get there naturally and enjoy my way there and enjoy being there than push so hard that I'm sacrificing my mental health for it. So if it happens, if something like that ever happens, cool, that's awesome. I'll count it a blessing. Um, so yeah, I don't know. So that's kind of what the infinite cycle is. It's like, am I going to be on an infinite cycle? And if I am, it's better be something that I enjoy, because if I'm going to dedicate stuff and be on this infinite cycle, I might as well enjoy it, because it's not giving me back much outside of just community. And I'll get that whether I push hard at it or not, because I'm connected with you guys and it's great. And like, I doubt it's gonna go away. Um so let's see. I actually did get through most of my notes here. Let me just double check. Do do do. Um, yeah, I think that's about it. Let's see. Yeah, there was one other thing I was going to talk about, like the Disney marketing strategy, because that is interesting. Maybe I'll save that for a whole different video though, because maybe I'll come back again like soon and do that video because that's a really cool, interesting thing of like how Walt Disney set up things. And I think the way we like market our comics and art and music and whatever it is, creative stuff, it's like he did that without social media. The internet wasn't even a thing, you know. Computers were barely a thing. Um, and like, you know, he just came up with the strategy and it worked. And, it's pretty ingenious. And I think we all have an idea of what it is, but like there's this whole like diagram that you could find online. And I've been learning just by looking at this diagram that he created, it's like, oh wow, there's some interesting things there that we could maybe learn for like with our comics and stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna save that for another time though, because I've talked a lot on this one, and I'm gonna go to the chat and see what's going on here. Do 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 do. Let's see. Let's see. Unleashed had a lot of plot to it for a martial arts movie. Flashbacks to how he was, etc. It was very well written as far as stories go. I mean, most action movies do have a lot of plot. I mean, really, any story has plot. Um, but yeah, like that's cool. I'm really glad that that was a cool story and like a well written story. Like I don't think I've seen it. Um, but I love I love that kind of like I love old Bruce Lee movies, and I've seen a few Jet Li movies. I haven't seen them all. Um, and yeah, I mean, some of my favorite stories, like this is like the sweet spot for me where I would like to be with my stories to some level. I mean, I don't think I'm necessarily ever, I don't know if I'll ever be at this level, but like Terminator 2, I've said this before. Terminator 2 is like such a great mix of like action, but also a lot of heart to it. There's like a message in there, there's themes, there's like it's not just a one-dimensional action plot. There's lots of dimension to it, you know. And the characters are really good. That's one version of a sweet spot that I'd love to hit, to have all that stuff mixed in. And it's just cool to watch. Like it's fun. Um, you know, that's and I don't know, there's a lot of different things I'd like to explore with story. So yeah, I don't know. I've done a lot of studying about story and I plan to do a lot more. Because basically what I'm saying too is I don't know how many more comics I'll end up drawing. Like I feel like I want to really develop the writing side and probably hire people to do the art, and then put the book together. And I think I will probably still do like my mini comics and like I can do like fan art and of my own stuff, and like I could do, I'll never stop being an artist. I love drawing and exploring art in all different mediums. And I love comics. I love comic book art. But what I've learned from a couple people drawing stories that I've written is sometimes I'm not the best artist necessarily for the story. Um, and also, I'm just, a lot of people are so much better at it than me. Like, I'd rather focus on the writing, get that down really good, create that blueprint, and then have somebody who really focuses on the art more than I do, really do a much better job than I can even do, Sideburns, been doing silicone and mold making. One big downside is it generates a lot of useless stuff you can't always put away. Yeah, that kind of stuff is a pain in the butt, but it is rewarding too. It's fun. one of my probably the most successful comic book convention I ever did was when I was doing like the designer toys and the molds and stuff like you're doing. And you'll be surprised. You might be surprised how much that sells if you do a convention or something. People really dig figures, even if they're like DIY stuff, like the stuff you're doing, which is really cool. The stuff I've seen a lot of what he Sideburns is doing. He's like turning his characters into toys or figures, which is really, really cool. And I think it's interesting too, like you'll find that the techniques used to tell a story versus used to make music versus used to draw a picture versus used to make a sculpture, a lot of these things are very universal, and if you can do one, a lot of times you can also do the other thing. Like creativity is a highly transferable skill once you've gotten, some accomplishment in one aspect, I feel like. But you can make nice models and figurines. Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. What's up, Deist? Thanks for coming by. Good to see you here. Let's see. Priya says, "Don't feel bad. I go through the same thing when I talk. Everything in my body gets clogged." Oh, really? I've never heard anybody else say that they can relate with that, because I have mentioned it a few times, on videos and then when I used to do my podcast and stuff. So it's good to know I'm not the only one. Let's see. Uh, you could balance it out, use it as a side thing. YouTube, yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at. I think with my YouTube channel, with the comics YouTube channel especially, is it's like a side thing, and I'm gonna always come back to it. I think because I love what I've done here. Like, I'm very happy with the people I've connected with and the community and audience I've, garnered, and the vibe of the people who hang out here. It's almost always positive. I hear a lot of people talk about all the negative things they get on YouTube or like on in social media and stuff. And I don't really relate with that because I've had so little negative interactions. There's been a few here and there, but I've had such little amounts of negative interactions that it's like it's been more awesome. Like people have been great, um, for the most part, and I've built up relationships that I never would have built up, and yeah, I don't know. It's been mostly a positive experience, but I do see the negativity sometimes, like especially if I go like scrolling on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, which I don't do very much of. Well, Instagram I do. Instagram's not so bad actually. For some reason, Instagram doesn't have as much negativity as everything else. It's still there, but it's much less, and I don't feel like I have to avoid the negative stuff when I'm there. And that's why I'm there more than other places actually. I love Instagram. It's just fun to scroll and like get inspiration and stuff. But I do see the negative stuff, and if I see it, I just stay away from it. And a lot of that's how this particular little section of comic book community that I would say the art casters, myself, Gary Hodges, like all the different YouTubers that are in this little sphere that we have, because there's other negative ones out there. And not all of them are negative out there, but there's you get a lot of people fighting with each other. That doesn't happen in our little sphere. Not that much, very rarely, so we're lucky. We found a little internet bubble that's nice. Dede's channel too. Like all the people there seem to be like really awesome, and like Janet, who has her show on Monday afternoons, and so many of the other people who watch Dede's show have channels, and it's all positive stuff. So there are like really nice positive communities out there in internet land. And all you got to do is stay away from the negative ones, and I feel like I've been able to do that for the most part. Um, Didi says, "Nice line work with the ballpoint pen. Thanks, I appreciate that." Priya says, "Well, let me just take a sip. I'm getting dry here." Sorry. Um, Yes, I agree with you. When it comes to the internet, finding a community, I also understand when it comes to music too. When you're interested in that as well, finding people like you on the internet. Totally. It's easy finding people online than it is finding in person, for sure. Let's see. People want to experience wonder. Yes. I mean, I wanna experience that. I think that's a great word, actually. That is something that I would love to express more is, like, the wonder of the world, like, the beauty. Oh, man, beauty is, like, the one of my that's where my that's the thing I wanna say, that's the type of stuff I wanna say. I see so much negative artistic expression out there, which that's also valid. There's a place for that, but I feel like that's been it's become more and more dominant throughout the years. And like I've been listening to a lot of like 60s music, like old like hits, like Beatles and Elvis and whatever, all this stuff. And I've been like it seems like throughout the years, through the 70s, then the 80s, and then the 90s, it just gets darker and darker and darker, and there's more and more like negativity expressed. And probably because we've become more and more free and more bored and more not taking for granted a lot of things. And so, we're kind of I think there's a lot of people who are just kind of spoiled and don't realize that we're blessed. And we have a lot to be thankful for, and there's a lot of negative things going on in the world, but there always has been. And I don't know, it seems like people were expressing nicer things, maybe in the 60s or something. I'm not saying everything was perfect then either. Like there's no like golden era. There was, horrible things happening throughout all of history. Um, but I just to me, I want to bring us back to a little bit of that, with the things that I express. I want to show people like there's a lot of awesomeness. Just look out in nature, like raise some chickens. Like you don't know, like it's so silly. Like Dee jokes about it, like and talks about it like on her channel and stuff. We always bring up the chickens. It's fun. But, like, you don't understand, like, how much joy just having chickens it's just fun, like, I thought it would be a burden, it's not, it's like, they add to our lives, like, they're funny, they do funny things sometimes, like and having, like we have a new dog and, like, that, like, is fun, and, I mean, we're kinda living this, like, little semi-farm kinda life, and I think that's a great way to break away from all the craziness on the internet and stuff. So Didi says 972 showing vids on your homepage, Marsh. Oh, okay. So I'm close to 1,000. I'm getting there. It won't be long. Well, maybe it will be long because I'm not doing as many videos these days, but maybe I'll never reach 1,000. Who knows? But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of videos. Drew DeRosa says, "Good to see you, Marsh. Hey, good to see you too. Thank you for coming by." Dwayne says, "You have a very deep niche of art-related talent and experience that seems like you should be getting paid to consult for." I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know if I want to go down that route, but you're probably right. Like, I probably could do a better job of monetizing my audience. So sounds sometimes bad, but like I don't think there's anything wrong with being supported for what you do and stuff. So I really am not against that or anything. But I mean, trust me, I've been trying to do that to a certain degree. But what's way more important to me is the friendships that have come out of all this stuff. And you know, and I think I have a better chance of doing that actually with the music channel, to be honest. Even though it's a small channel still. I only have like 250 something subscribers on there. It's called Planet Plex if anybody's interested. And I do like videos like showing off like what I'm doing with like synthesizers and different gear and stuff and experimenting and similar to this, like, you know, just fun like videos about making music and stuff. But anyways, again, that's like Planet Plex, just if you didn't hear it. But and you're interested. But I think I have a better chance on that because I can take all the wisdom, all the things that I've learned from doing this YouTube channel, which I'm still doing this YouTube channel, but I can take that and like kind of do things that like do the right things more. Whereas with this channel, I've kind of experimented a lot. Sometimes I've done the quote unquote right things that do well, on YouTube, and sometimes I haven't. Um, but it doesn't really matter that much because I'm just not focused on doing that with this channel anymore that much. I'm more focused on just having fun here. And the other channel, I'm focused on having fun as well, but I have more energy in the realm of like, let's try to make a video that, gets views for this reason or that reason. Like that seems fun to me to do over on that channel, whereas that kind of thing doesn't seem as fun here for some reason. Um, Maybe if I do like, stuff more just art related, like maybe I'll change the name to Marsh Illustrations or Marsh Makes Art again or something. I don't know. We'll see. But it's kind of hard because it's been Marsh Makes Comics for a long time, and it is a place I want to express the comic stuff too. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's see. The hand doesn't look too bad to me. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I was again, I'm like more focused on talking to you guys than making the art and stuff. So it's good to I love just sketching anyways, especially with the ballpoint and stuff. And it's all just meant to be practice really. So I appreciate it though. Thank you. Let's see. Wow, amazing sketch, Marsh. Thanks, Ralph. Appreciate that. Let's see. I found that those kind of comments come from people with no vids or comics themselves. Yeah, sometimes the most negative comments come from people who aren't willing to actually put themselves out there. So what do they know? Oops. Let's see. Dwayne says bivocational situations don't allow anyone to chase the algorithm and maintain any other employment for any length of time. You have chosen wisely to not let it consume you like it does many. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Let's see. Very cool drawing. Thank you. Um, I will buy this sketch if you will sell it. The Scholar. Oh man. Hey, I'll sell it. Sure. That's fine. Dede, you spend too much money, supporting me. I really appreciate it. Sometimes I feel bad though. It's like, oh, it feels sweet though. It's like you're really nice. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Um, Priya says banging. All right. Holy shnikes, you're do you mean this one? This one you could buy or I could whatever. You just let me know. You'll DM me whatever you want to do, Dede. um, that's fine too. I'll sell this. I'll sell anything. I won't sell anything. I won't sell my pride. Oh boy. Holy shnikes. I like that. Shnikes. Your casual doodling is more artistic than the best I'd do after years of learning and practicing. Oh my gosh. Stop it. Stop it. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Um, I don't mean to say, oh, that's just a doodle. Like, trust me, I have a lot of bad drawings. Like, I like that one. It came out kind of cool, right? I'm not saying I don't like it. It's just, yeah, it's pretty cool. Um, so, but I also see, I'm just like every other artist. I see the flaws. I see the flaws in this piece too. It's like I see more of the flaws than you do, probably. Let's see. Victor Wooten is maybe the best bass player alive today. His family is magical as well. Yeah, they like I would have loved to have grown up in that family. Like I've watched like interviews with him and everything. Like he is like super inspirational. His family seems like awesome. Um And yeah, that book is so good. If you're at all interested in music, making music, or just want to read a really cool story, because it's really written like a epic story. Like it's like the Matrix of music. That's what I feel like. It's similar to like the Matrix movie. Not It's not even sci-fi, but it's just like it's called The Music Lesson. And then the other book too. Both books are really good. Um and it's like the I don't know, it's like the adventure of the Matrix, but using musical concepts as like the magic of it. And it's like it's a cool book. And it teaches you about music a lot, like kind of not exactly purposefully, but sort of purposefully. So yeah, it's amazing. It's an amazing book that he wrote. Victor Wooten is maybe the yeah, okay, yeah, totally. He's really good. I mean, I'm heading into 14 years. Wow. That's so awesome, Dede. It's so crazy of the live streams. Yeah, it's crazy. That's great. Priya, I envy you actually, Marsh. I love art as well, not just comics. I do wish I could draw and write and paint using other artist tools. I thought like you do. I still, yes. Okay. Sometimes, it, m- um, it's hard to read some of this stuff, but I appreciate that. Um, yeah, I mean, there's no reason why um, we can't like more than one way of expressing things and all that kind of thing. Yes, Mark Crilly. Let's see. Do. Hey, Jasper, thanks for coming by. Yeah, good night. Let's see. Do. Listen to Gregory Girl. So happy to hear that old music. Is that a song? It sounds familiar. Oh, thank you for putting the link in. Planetplex. Yep, that's the YouTube, the music YouTube. If anybody's interested. No, the ballpoint sketch. Hey, okay, that's fine. Either way, we're all good. We'll figure it out. Although that is nice too. Thank you. I appreciate it. Um, and Dwayne says if you send that to Victor Wooten, he would love that. Maybe I should. I did tag him when I posted it on Instagram. I don't know if you noticed or not, but either way, like it was fun to do, and maybe I'll do more of him because he's just so super inspirational and everything. So, all right. Anyways, tomorrow, Dede at 8:30 Eastern time in the morning, AM. Check out her videos. She's always doing fun, crafty, artsy stuff. Love it. I always just enjoy hanging out. Also tomorrow at very late time at night, you might have to catch it on Thursday, like I probably will, because I'll be sleeping. There's the 400th celebration episode of the Artcasters. Check that out. All the links are in the chat for this video for anywhere where you could possibly find that. Definitely check out those links that Dede posted because there's a lot of good stuff in there. And yeah, I mean, I think probably my next video will be, a live stream, or I don't know, who knows? We'll figure it out. But maybe I'll do this Disney marketing thing for the next video, cuz that I think will be really informative on how we may want to pursue trying to kind of cultivate our comic like our IPs, our intellectual properties, but like our characters, like how can we make this comic thing work? Well, Walt Disney had a crazy idea with some animation and it worked pretty darn good. And yeah, I'd like to dig a little bit into that. I've dug into that in the past, but I never realized this diagram exists and it kind of opened my eyes to some interesting things. So maybe that'll be the next video. Anyways, hope you guys have a great rest of the week. And we'll be chatting again at some point. Thank you for hanging out. You could always do the like, comment, subscribe type of thing if you want. That's what I'm supposed to say because I'm a YouTuber, you know. So anyways, thanks for hanging out, and I'll talk to you the next time. Have a great rest of your week. All right. Peace out, everybody.